Yes. I don't need to leave in the Skeletor meows, but I'm going to do that anyway, because that was just me confirming to myself that I am actually recording. Hi there, ladies and gentlemen of that humble little internet. That was me trying to wake myself up, because I am now doing this. It's like 10:30 at night, after a long work day, and doing other things. But I'm not even at... I thought I had like maybe 2 or 3 episodes worth to get through the rest of Act 3. I'm still in Act 3. We're still in Act 3. We have to finish this game. I need to finish this game. I'm not trying to bum rush my way through it necessarily because, oh my god, I need to have it done. I did that with other games. You can name what those other games probably were. I've loved my experience in Katawa Shoujo. It is the S-God tier of visual novels. Let's be frank. Even though I'm Ryan. AKA the Ryman. Welcome back to another episode of Ryman's Bizarre Adventures of Katawa Shoujo. Let's be frank. This has been great. It's like... This channel is known for many things. This is one of them. My brain's already shot. You would know it's shot if you're coming onto this episode right after the last one, where you know my brain was getting the mentally tired and dumb. So now there's no hope of anything coherent whatsoever. But we do. We gonna go strong. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. That's a bad omen. That's a bad omen. Anyway, I don't think Misha's angry at you. But then again, I don't know how to read the room. That really came out of nowhere. Shizune's frankness is disorienting. Because with her, any kind of candor is a sign of total seriousness. There's no playful smile on her face. Instead, it's her usual stoic method of concentration, ready to try and see if I'm about to tell her the truth. I'm upset that she thinks that I would tell her anything else, but I also know that they probably fought recently, out of my sight, and it makes me feel warm to know that they both care about each other so much. No, I strongly doubt that. I know it said it, but I'm also an idiot. You don't have to point it out. I'm fully aware of my mental disabilities. Did you know that she thinks you're angry at her? Shizune nods slowly and uncomfortably. Yes. She was more roundabout with the question than you. Kind of surprised me because I thought that you were, like, the one who liked playing games. Not all the time. Are you two having some kind of fight? No. Are you bullshitting me? She's very quick to deny it, and not happy with the thought. I feel like I've stepped on a landmine. Sorry. Actually, yes. Just a tiny one. Define tiny. I know that she has no interest in the student council. She only joined because of me. I'm still grateful. I'm so happy she's my friend. But I don't understand what she is upset about this time. Why don't you just ask her? This is throwing me through a loop. Because I thought, like, Shizune was going to have to be the one that slowly became more upset over her losing student counselor position type shindig shit thing. I can't brain. I know what some of you are saying, Ryan, go to bed. But by the time you're going to be saying, Ryan, go to bed, it's probably going to be well into the next day. And I don't know. I don't know. She won't tell me. I'll figure it out myself instead. I was sure that I was very perceptive, even if I can't hear. That was dumb. I know better now. It is probably something that is my fault. Shizune doesn't elaborate further on what it could have been. I'm sure that this is because she does not fully understand the situation herself. It's odd to think that Shizune, usually so sure of everything, could be scared by a little argument with a friend. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. They're a lot closer to each other than normal friends, and Shizune is pretty isolated from other people, in a way. The fact that she is deaf is no small part of it. But I get the feeling that that she uses Misha as a buffer between other people of her own will, not just because it's been forced onto her. She can communicate well enough with her little pad. She just hates it. After such a long time of talking through another person, I guess you start to lose touch. It seems unavoidable. It isn't such a far-out idea to think that she isn't that great with people. I mean, I'm fucking not. I hate people. I return to working, kind of wanting to eat that cinnamon bun more as time drags on. But when I count the shogi pieces still left out on Shizune's table, I can tell at a glance she would win. I'm also too hungry to concentrate if we were to have a rematch. Motivated by my desire to wrap up and eat something, I put the finishing touches on the last of the posters. Done. I think this many is enough. Too many can be a bad thing. Okay. That's it? Just okay? I'll probably do some myself after I'm done picking what voting format to go with. Too many posters is bad too. Haven't you ever heard of oversaturation? I really think you're trying too hard. Tensing her fingers, Shizune looks like she could almost admit it. Maybe. It's what Misha thinks too. As I watch her fingers continue uneasily twining around and pulling at each other in a miniature tug of war. I don't mind, but I asked around a couple of classes today and interest is low. It's like you said, so... Does that make it wrong? No, but it does make it kind of pointless. It's not. Yeah, but to who? I doubt even Shizune truly believes that. I'm not doing all this work just for my own ego. That isn't what I mean. First chance to be alone with her in days, and I've already really cocked it up. Still, she doesn't actually look angry. It's more like she's frustrated that she can't express herself clearly enough. Since she's an expert in sign language, I wouldn't think that would be the case. I wonder what advantage being able to speak would offer her, and if she has ever thought about it. It's another project of mine, just like the festivals. I'm going to do it because it's my job. It's just that a student council election isn't as fun as the festival, so no one cares. She briefly touches her fingertips together, as if to say, but maybe. But, there is some truth to it. But Shizune doesn't want to say anything that could be boiled down into something so glib. But I don't care. I want to get people riled up. But it isn't about me. I don't want to be involved at all. What do you mean? You go to every single festival. Shizune waves her hand in mock indignation. Well, I have fun too, but, it's not the same thing. Her spirits seem to have improved, if she could manage to crack a joke. I don't want anyone to make a point of being involved. It's a hassle. I don't want that responsibility. Things are becoming too complicated now as is. The more I try to hype up the elections, the more involved I have to be. No one wants to play their hand yet, and it doesn't feel like my time is over, even though it should. Crossing her arms and leaning back, she grinds her teeth together in frustration. They're all so lazy. It's impossible to get them to do anything. Anywhere else, the elections would be an exciting event. It's illogical. Why does everyone have to be so different? If only there was some way to... Okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. I'm starting to wake up a little bit now. Girl, you definitely do have a career in politics, but I'm starting to think, I'm really starting to think your line of politics is more in line with Imperial Japan. Oh! Oh! Yeah! Oh! Oh no! Oh no. Oh no. Let me see. Okay, for the folks at home that aren't actually watching their screens and just listening in, let me see if I can go through this slowly but surely, okay? Like chaining the school to their desks. Voting is mandatory. If you don't vote, you get whipped. We whipped them real good, didn't we, Peter?
We sure did, buddy. We whipped them. We whipped them good.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I love democracy. Terrifying. I wonder how hypocritical it would be if I were to stay in bed on election day with the flu, and a cold, and a strep throat, and a sprained ankle, and Ebola. You should put yourself on one of these. Not as punishment, don't misunderstand. I hold up one of Misha's posters. Like this. It's kind of a neat idea. Misha was on to something. It's a lot cuter than just text. I think you would like it. Having cute mascots would drum up some excitement. Not coming on out in here in military attire, telling everyone the beatings will continue until morale rises. Maybe if it's just Misha. Why not me? Someone told me that the school is slightly more girls than boys. You have to cater to that demographic too. Shizune giggles audibly this time. I'm surprised, and when she sees my face, so is she. Her face flushes pink, embarrassed to have let out a sound, which is really confusing to say the least. Why don't you put yourself on it? She just waves my question away. It's troublesome. What do you mean, troublesome? Everyone knows that you're in the student council. My stomach growls, making me realize that I'm hungrier than I'd thought. Shizune uses the moment to deflect my question by changing the subject. Is something wrong? Nah, my stomach growled. I see. She looks at the forgotten pastry on her desk and frowns, finding it inadequate for two people. Let's go to the Shanghai, because of course, if you are that hungry. It might be a little busy this late, but Yuko is working there today. We will definitely get a table. There is something worryingly underhanded in that smile. I'll pass. I've already been there twice this week, back to back. Shizune pouts, leaning back against her desk, and then scrunching up her posture in protest. What? I'm disappointed you said no. Well, get used to it. You know, come to think of it, I don't think I ever had... Not that any guy would complain, because there was obviously some form of consent, but I never could say had the option to say no when I was strapped to that chair. So yeah, I don't think Shizune likes the word no. Well, I can't agree with you on everything. You don't give your opinion often enough anyway. It would be easier for me if it was like that, but not very interesting, right? There are some decisions you should disagree with me on, and you have a duty to. How am I supposed to know which is which? It's easy. No, it's not. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell whether you're joking or serious. It's like looking at a person with one eye. You can never tell if they're winking or blinking at me. Although, since she communicates entirely in sign language, that would seem pretty obvious. I wouldn't say that's all there is to it, though. I remember when I had my heart attack, Iwanako wouldn't stop talking at first. Eventually, I wish that she would just shut the fuck up. Or I would have, if I hadn't been happy to have any kind of company at all. Gradually, I stopped being so grateful. When we talked, I felt like there was nothing more than ritualized exchanges of politeness. Iwanako tried extremely hard to obfuscate how she felt, which was that I was hopeless. In the end, her outer behavior matched her inner feelings. For that reason, I was able to accept it when one day she stopped showing up. I was no longer surprised by the time that happened. Even though she considered herself a master at hiding her feelings, I was not surprised. I've heard that games like shogi and chess can tell you a lot about a person. Yeah, if you play them with me, you can tell that I'm an idiot. I wish I knew that Shizune thought... I'm starting to get tired. I wish I knew what Shizune thought they said about me. It could be that I'm a little more like Iwanako than I'd like to think. If I can only tie with Shizune by retreating, I suggest that we should order out. We've reached the end of a chapter. Act 3 is still fucking going! I blame myself for this. I blame myself that I was thinking it was going to actually be that much shorter than I thought it would would be. Wow, I officially, I don't think I can no more. But I'm gonna keep going. The next day I walk up to my usual vending machine at lunch only to find that it's out of my favorite drink. Secret is so far away from most of my classrooms, between a storeroom and the library. It's like no one knew about it. I expected a vending machine so close to the library to be booming with customers. But then again, the library is empty most of the time. Anyone who goes there is only doing so to look for stuff to pad paper with. No one stays there any longer than they obviously have to. For the past month, it's been working out in my favor. But the trade-off with a vending machine no one knows about is that it's never restocked. Selling for a can of orange soda, I decided to drink it here instead of waiting until I get to the cafeteria, when the library door opens next to me. Library. It's either Yuko, or it's actual best girl. I'm so angry right now. Hello, Yuko. The woman that everyone is saying was supposed to be heavily implied to have been Kenji's ex. Really? She comes off like she's 40. I've been looking for you. Oh god, no, I don't need the secret Yuko route. Yuko seems to be acting a lot more assertive than usual today, although it isn't enough to keep her from going back to mumbling immediately afterwards. Return your books, please. I mean, the library's books. The books you checked out are really overdue. Some of them are on waiting lists. Oops, I forgot. I keep checking out new ones and forget to return the old ones. You fucking dingus. That happens to me all the time at the university library. It's so embarrassing. Do they send someone to try and get you to bring them back? No. The university library is bigger. They don't notice if I happen to borrow something longer than normal. It's convenient because their policy on keeping the books too long is really stricter than here. I like how, despite what she said, Yuko has no problem with borrowing books for longer than she is supposed to anyway. Makes her being so on top of my own lateness a little hypocritical. It takes a thief, I guess. Catching on the meaning of her words around the same time I do, Yuko clams up and starts backpedaling furiously. That's different from this situation. It's totally different. Why don't you go rub Kenji's back, and then go play bowling in the hallway? Yuko stares at her nails for a second as if she really wants to bite them, but is too self-conscious to do so. For instance, how long it's been. You checked out some of these books months ago, Hisao. Sorry, it's just that other people want to read them too. If you're a slow reader, that's okay, though. No, it's a total screw-up on my part. To be honest, I haven't even read some of them. I shouldn't keep taking out books when I have a backlog. That's no good. Yeah, it really isn't. Now I'm starting to copy her habit of trailing off quietly. Her awkwardness is very contagious for some reason. That said, I'm surprised. Yuko seems almost normal today, although every now and then her waitressy, nervous tics keep popping back up. Come to think of it, she didn't act this way when I first met her. She was a little clumsy and neurotic, but it wasn't anywhere near this severe until Shizune, Misha, and I ran into her at the Shanghai. It could be that Yuko has a complex about having kids from the school seeing her waitress singing. I guess it was a little odd for her to pick the closest cafe to the school to work in, then. In that case, maybe the place having so few customers would be considered a lucky break. Well, I get it. I'll return them right after school, I promise. As soon as possible, please. Wait. Can I ask you for one more thing? Sure. What? I have to go for a while, but I can't just leave the library empty. Sorry, but can I ask you to watch it while I'm gone? Just for a little bit. I'll be right back as soon as possible. You're in the student council, so I'm sure if you did it, it would be okay. There better be a half-burnt best girl in there. Alright, I'll do it. But I won't be doing it for you. So don't worry about... Thank you! Yuko quickly slides forward as if she's so grateful she is about to give me a hug, but she stops 2 centimeters into it, which ultimately just makes the gesture look extremely confusing. I'm also surprised that she can control her momentum so well, since she's kind of clumsy. Before I can say as much as, "You're welcome," she's already dashing off with the urgency of someone late to an appointment. She's probably got to go take a wicked pissa. That could be the case, but I won't feel safe assuming so. It's Yuko, and she seems like that kind of person to treat everything that way. Now that I'm in the library, I feel a bit silly. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. Should I sit down like I normally would and read? It probably would do, but wouldn't meet Yuko's high standards. Maybe I should sit at the librarian's desk and give anyone who comes in a stern and analytical glare. I'm actually really good at that. I use Shizune as a starting point and practice it a couple of times on the mirrored surface of a pen. God, I bet that looks like a sight. I think it looks pretty good. Frustratingly, no one comes in, so I give up on the idea quickly and decide to just go looking for Hanako instead. Yes! In this episode, I hurt my fucking hand again. I came down at a bad angle. Oh. End this episode with a cliffhanger on Best Girl. It's deserted. I think I see someone, but the second I blink, whoever it is gone. That's Hanako. I would bet, if I was a betting man, that that's Hanako. Who the fuck is that supposed to be a portrait of, by the way? Anyone who you think you see, and you blink, and they're gone? That's Hanako. As soon as I return to Yuko's desk and crack open an interesting-looking book, a familiar person swings in front of me like a falling pendulum. Not who I was expecting? But it will do!